What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to My Social Life. This is the podcast where you can hear the real stories behind the people on social media. I'm your host, Jacob Kelly, and today we're joined by Sean Sataridana.
What's
And
up?
what's going on, man? So Sean, you go by SeanDoesMagic online, and so you're a magician. You've blown up on social media recently, hitting 1.9 million followers on TikTok, over 92,000 on Instagram, all while doing this while being in high school. And I'm very excited to have you on the show today, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited for this, man.
Yeah, me too. So before we kind of really get going, can you just tell me a little bit about who you are kind of outside of magic?
Okay, outside of magic, well, I've always been interested in video. It's one of my favorite things. When people ask me what I do, I usually say content creator. Although I am a magician, I really like making videos. It's one of my biggest passions, and I do outside of magic. I do tons of comedy videos on my TikTok and Instagram.
Oh, that's awesome. So when did you get into magic then? I think you're around 6, right?
Yeah, around around 6 years old, I got my first magic kit, and I feel like a lot of kids all get like a magic kit at one point. They all learn magic, but I'm just a kid that kind of stuck with it.
That's awesome. So like what made you stick with magic then? Like what was it about it that kind of kept you coming back?
I mean, it's just like when you do a magic trick for someone, you give them the feeling that anything is possible. Like that split second before anybody thinks about, how he did that, that split second, that feeling that you get where you can make someone really believe something. That's probably why I stuck with magic. I just love that moment.
No, that's awesome. And one other thing I wanted to ask you too about like kind of your origins of magic is it true that at one point you were the youngest member of a magician's guild?
Yes, I was, man. I joined a magic club, and yeah, I was the youngest member in that magic club. I joined it at the age of at 9 or 10. I don't know the specifics. I kind of forgot, but yeah, I was the youngest member, and I was doing magic just with all the other guys.
That's awesome. And then so like when did you kind of merge your two passions, that one being like video and content creation and magic? I kind of wrote down like about 7 years ago. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, just about 7 years ago, I posted my first video in around 2012. So I was about 10 years old when first posted my on my YouTube channel, and at that time it wasn't Sean Does Magic. It's actually a different name, way more complicated. It was called Casilla Ilisic was the name of my original channel, but I basically wanted to start filming me doing these magic videos, and that's when I started posting on YouTube.
Okay. And it's like, where did that original name come from? I actually had that written down and I was curious as to what that means.
Actually, so my dad, he was the one who set up the whole YouTube channel. He was the one kind of running everything. And I have two other siblings, an older sister named Kim and a younger sister named not sister, excuse me, younger brother named Lance. And we just took the first two letters of all our names, Kise from my name and LA. We kind of mixed it together to make
Oh,
Casilla.
okay. And so when did like Sean Does Magic become your name? Like when did you make that switch?
Okay, so I started really taking social media seriously 2017, and at that time I wanted a name that people could say because Casilla is kind of difficult to say, and I wanted something that I could brand. So I was like, oh, I want to do something, and I was trying to think of like other creators, and at that time, I was young. I really liked this other YouTuber, Sky Does Minecraft, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna just put my name in what I do. So I made Sean Does Magic.
That's awesome. So like what made you start to take social media seriously? I'm pretty sure Instagram was the one you first kind of went all in on, correct?
Yes, it was. And honestly, I've auditioned for America's Got Talent. That was one thing that I did. And I've actually auditioned four times for the show. I went to four open call auditions in three different cities, twice in Vegas, once in Los Angeles, and once in Tampa, Florida. And after my fourth audition, where I didn't make it, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't need someone to tell me that I can't, like, I'm not talented. I'm gonna try to build this myself, and that's when I really got motivated and doubled down on social media.
And so kind of just on touching on America's Got Talent quickly before we really dive into social media. As someone now that has just absolutely blown up on social media and having being told no multiple times by America's Got Talent, does that kind of taint your view of traditional media? Like, do you still see a value in traditional media, or do you think that social media is long and far surpassed it?
I think there's still some value. I mean, people still watch America's Got Talent, and I know that if I was to be on that show, there's gonna be, more recognition, and more people are gonna know who I am. But it's kind of different because for social media, you can really build your own brand, and with a show like America's Got Talent or like any show that you have to audition, it's really they're really about the ratings, and they just want the people that will make their shows stand out the most. And so it doesn't really show the true talent of, other people who audition.
And like, what's that audition process like? Like, is it because I know like you watch on TV and it's in the theater, but I'm pretty sure like for everyone, like you have to audition before the actual auditions, right?
Yeah. So basically, you can show up to they have a list of cities, and you can show up to any of these cities, and it's similar to how they show it on the show, but you're not in front of the judges. You have to audition in front of the producers first, and based on how your audition is in front of the producers, they will decide whether you can audition on actual TV. And it's a really long process. And every single time I've auditioned, I was one really nervous, and two, it's a really long waiting. You're in a waiting room for like 5 to 6 hours, just waiting for your name to be called. And then once you're up there, you're there for like 2 minutes, and from there, you just wait for an email or a call. And yeah, it's really nerve wracking actually.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. But and like with the amount of time that it takes, like just waiting like 5, 6 hours, like you said, to do a 2 minute audition, like where my brain is to go is like the amount of content you can like film in that amount of time in that 5, 6 hour window. And like speaking of speed, you gain followers pretty quickly too, right? Like you went from 2 to 30,000, I think, in 3 months.
Yeah, that's when I first started doing Instagram. I really wanted to make it big because I personally believe that I had the talent to do it. So I just kept making videos, kept posting, kept advertising myself on other pages, and yeah, something just hit. Bam! One video hit the explore page, went from 2 to 30,000 in a few months.
That's wild. So when you say like advertising yourself on other pages, you like paying people to kind of shout you out, or were you just like going like commenting and stuff?
I was commenting. I was I was one of those self promoters in the comment section, which I'm seeing a lot more now, actually, more than ever. But when I first started, there was only like a few of us, self promoting ourselves in the comment section. And although it's kind of hypocritical because I find that annoying now when people do that on my page, but but yeah, that's actually how I started. I was like, "Yo, give me a shot. If you guys like magic, check out my magic page. If you don't, just ignore this comment." And that's what I did. I went to bigger pages and started growing myself.
That's awesome. Was there any other tactics you used like outside of kind of just promoting yourself?
That was the main one. I did start going into engagement groups, and if for anybody listening that doesn't know what engagement groups are, it's basically other creators helping each other to make a post do better. Hit the explore page because if you get other creators who have a good amount of following, liking and commenting on your post, then Instagram's gonna be like, oh, I like that post. We're gonna send it to the explore page, and so I started doing that. And then I started reaching out to other pages and saying like, "Yo, you want to post me? Like this video did really well on my page. It could do really well on yours."
Okay. And like like speaking of engagement groups, like would you recommend them to people now? Because like I asked different people and like people are kind of hit or miss when I ask about engagement groups. Some people are like, yeah, 100% it works, do it. But some people are like, I don't know, it's kind of sketchy and you're like kind of gaming the system. So probably avoid those. Like, would you recommend someone do an engagement group today?
Um, I wouldn't recommend that as like the sole like way that you're gonna hit the explore page. Honestly, with any tactic, it's just you got to have good content. Like you could have the most millions of people like commenting on your thing. You could have bots. You could have whatever tactic. At the end of the day, my biggest like piece of advice would be just have good content, man. If you have good content and you have good content, you're gonna make it big.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I was looking at your Instagram lately, and you don't have like too many posts up. So have you gone back and like deleted old videos and stuff?
For sure, man. I had a recent spike last year where it went to 50 to 80K, and I took that and I was like, "Yo, there's a lot of people watching my stuff. I'm just gonna look through, make sure I don't have anything that's like, maybe controversial or anything that might have been." like I might have a video that I redid and it's better, the newer version. So I was just taking down some older posts.
And so, like, at your peak on Instagram, how many times, or what was your upload schedule when you were really like all in on Instagram?
So my upload schedule on Instagram was just about once a week, which should be more honestly. And right now it is more. I'm trying to post every single day on Instagram. Actually, within the last week, I've been posting pretty consistently on Instagram. But it makes it really difficult that I'm still in high school. So I try to like fit in videos here and there. But I was posting just about once a week back in like 2017, 2018.
Okay. And like, have you been hit at all by like Instagram's organic reach declining?
Um, you know, a little bit, a little bit. There was definitely a time where my reach was, it was hitting way more than my follower count, where every video was hitting 200, 300,000 views. And now they're hitting just about, 50,000 views. But honestly, you most of my growth doesn't even come from the organic reach. It comes from other people reposting me and other people sharing my content. So I'm not hit too hard by it. And honestly, it's not really even about the views or like the likes or anything. So I'm not too worried about the decline.
No, that's totally fair. But, and like, I guess too, like with most of your growth coming from people sharing, like that's the best way to grow as opposed to relying on the algorithm and the organic reach to grow you. Like, word of mouth is so much more powerful than an algorithm.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. Because when you have other people, especially your fans or people who really support you, not just like meme pages or like those other pages that repost people. When you have your fans really sharing it, it goes out to their friends, and it's real. It's real engagement. It's not just bots, or it's not just people trying to grow on their own pages. It's real people sharing to their real friends, and word of mouth, man. It's really important.
And then when did TikTok first hit your radar? Like, when did you first find out about that platform?
So I heard about TikTok after it switched from Musically to TikTok, and with that, I didn't really think much of it. I thought TikTok was just going to be another Musically, and at first it was. I mean, the first few videos on TikTok were really similar, and then it started to become like a meme culture, where a lot of people were posting like funny videos, comedy videos, a little bit different than Musically. And a couple of my other friends started going on there and making their own funny videos, and I saw how easy it was. And one day, one of my friends hit 50,000 followers on the app. I was like, "Whoa, that happened in like a month, man." And I was like, "Okay, so the organic reach must be insane." And so late February I posted my first video, which was a dancing video, unfortunately. But that it got like 80 views. I had 0 followers. I didn't promote this anywhere. But I was like, okay. And so as I moved forward, I kept posting, and my second video, man, it hit 5 million views, which blew me out the water. I was blown away. I was like, man, this app has potential right here.
Wow. So you hit 5 million on your second video?
My second video.
Wow. What was that video?
You know what? I actually started off TikTok. I didn't take it too seriously because again, before TikTok didn't have that name of like, oh, you can like make it big on TikTok. It had that name of like, memes, funny videos. People when I told them I did TikTok, they're like, "Ah, you do TikTok? What?" But no, I started off doing meme videos, like funny videos. And the first video that I made were making fun of freshmen, like freshmen in high school. And yeah, that video got 5 million views.
That's awesome. So I'm assuming like right when that happened, did it kind of click for you? We're like, yo, I should do my magic on here now? Or did you still kind of pursue the meme side for a little while?
I definitely didn't even think about magic at all. I thought the entire, because I didn't see a lot of magicians posting on the app. I thought the entire app was more centered around, funny videos, funny content. So I kept that up for a month, and it wasn't until um, around April where I started posting my magic videos.
It's like, how many followers then did you gain in that time frame from February to April where you're posting meme stuff? Yeah, that one video was super viral. Like, how many followers did you get just from that alone?
From that, I was doing pretty well. I went from 1K to 30K in a couple months, which is fairly decent. Yeah, I really like. I actually really enjoy making those funny videos. I'm trying to do some more of that now, just because I really enjoy it. But yeah, I grew a decent following, 30K.
No, that's not bad at all. So, like, do you have any tips for people now as like like a seasoned creator on TikTok, like tips for people that are just coming over now that are a little bit late to the party? Like, do you have any advice for how to grow on TikTok or anything specifically if you're just new to the platform?
For sure. Like, Gary Vee talks about this. I'm not sure if you're probably familiar with Gary Vee, but he always says that it doesn't matter, how late you are. It matters how good you are. And at the end of the day, it's about content. It's about producing as much content as possible because you can post, 7, 8, 9, 10 a day, have zero followers, and one video just clicks. If one video just clicks, the rest is history, man. And I've seen it happen firsthand. My friends started joining the app. They would post, they would get 100 views, 100 views, 100 views. One video gets 2 million views, and now they have a solid audience on their TikTok. And definitely following trends is always good. Put your own twist on trends. That's what I try to do. I mean, I did the meme videos, but I would try to take those meme trends and incorporate a little bit of magic when I was doing that. From 0 to 30K.
And then, so at what point did you hit 1 million followers?
Oh, that that happened really quick. I started doing mind reading videos. That was one that worked really, really well. And these mind reading videos, the premise is I'm going to read your mind with magic. And if I'm able to read your mind, all I ask is you hit that follow button. And it converted really well. My first viral video, I gained 100,000 followers in a day, which it got 12 million views with that mind reading video. And I kept doing this. And in the span of about like 1 to 2 months after I hit 30K, I also hit 1 million followers.
And then you've kind of hit 1.9, I think, like just as of today, right?
Yes, just today. Yesterday I had 1.7. Today I hit 1.9, which blew me away. I gained 100,000 followers overnight, which I'm so blessed, man.
Dude, that's crazy. Congratulations. Like, what happened from last night to this morning that caused you to gain 100K?
I started following another trend and I tried to put my own little twist on it. It's a video where I throw a basketball behind my head and I try to hit it in the hoop. But before I throw the basketball, I say a phrase, and if the basketball goes in, it means it's true. And so the very first clip I say, "Am I adopted?" And then I threw the basketball and it went in. And that's the very first clip, hooked everybody's attention. And then yeah, everybody seemed to really like that video. And at the very end, I say, "Oh, one day I'm gonna meet David Dobrik, which is one of my favorite creators," and it went in. And yeah, everybody's like sharing that video now, tagging David Dobrik, and it's doing really really well.
That's awesome. So, like, do you think that from this video, there's a chance you'll meet David?
Man, that dude is hard to reach. But there's a possibility. I have like about 2,000, 3,000 comments on there right now tagging him. So we'll see, man.
That's awesome. So now that you're sitting at 1.9 million, like, how has your life changed since you like absolutely exploded on TikTok?
Oh man, it has completely changed so much. Like I said, I started this off as just like a high school kid that likes to make videos, and it's just been phenomenal. I started making my own money now. When I first started Instagram, I was making no money. Actually I was spending more money on ads to grow my following, and so I was losing money. But now that I have a TikTok following, I've been able to do brand deals. I live stream every single day where people can donate, and I make a solid living now just through TikTok, which completely changes my life. I'm actually moving to Los Angeles next year once I graduate high school.
That's awesome. And like, that's crazy. Like, speaking of
Thank you.
like, no worries. So, like, hitting this level of fame and still being in high school, like, how has your high school experience changed over the last 6, 8 months with all this happening?
Man, it's been crazy. Like it's weird. Like about a year ago when I was just doing Instagram, things started to change a little bit. Like people from the other schools, whenever I went to like games, football games, basketball games, they would ask for pictures, and I was really confused. I was like, I'm just this kid making videos. Like I don't understand. And now like it's crazy whenever I go to any event or anything like that. People just like always asking for photos. It's crazy, man.
That's insane. What about like what do you think some people wouldn't expect about being like this big on TikTok? Like for someone on the outside looking in, like what's something like that they wouldn't necessarily think about? Like they just see like you have all these followers, people want to take photos with you, like it's awesome. But what are some things people don't necessarily see?
They don't see the amount of work it takes, and I don't think people give TikTok creators enough credit because it's really like although um the app has like evolved a little bit and a lot of people are on the app now, celebrities are on the app now. People still kind of think of it as like, kind of like a joke app a little bit. Although it has evolved, but they don't give TikTok creators enough credit because like the amount of thought that goes behind a TikTok video to catch their attention in the first few seconds, to keep them engaged, to tell a story throughout the whole thing. That's probably one of the biggest things. And posting every single day, man, it's not as easy as it looks. To create a new concept every single day.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned how like you'll go to these games now and people will come up to you. Do you remember the first time you ever got recognized in public?
Yes, I do, man, and it's probably the most embarrassing story. Um, I it was at a Goodwill.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I went to a Goodwill and I was thrift shopping and I literally just woke up. And I was wearing slides, I was in shorts, I looked groggy and I just was looking for some things to thrift. And I walked in and then one of the employees was like, "You're Sean, right?" I was blown away. She's like 20 years old. I thought my audience was like 5, but she was like, "You're Sean. You're the one who does magic." I was like, "Oh my god, yes I am." And so she took a photo with me, and I still have that photo today. But yeah, it was a really embarrassing moment. And from then on, I was like, "Oh no! Every time I go in public, I need to make sure I don't look absolutely horrible like that."
That's awesome. Like how often like do people ask you to do magic now? Is it every time they see you? So do you kind of have to be rolling with the deck of cards at all times now?
What's funny is everybody's known me as, the magic dude. Because I would always do magic. I was always performing. I was always learning. Even before social media, and when I was in middle school, early high school. So regardless, I always carry. I don't think I haven't left the house without a deck of cards in like a good 6 years. Actually, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. So like have you ever because you mentioned how like more people are coming onto the platform now, like celebrities and stuff. Have you connected with any other popular TikTokers, whether it be to collaborate, just kind of talk about the space at all?
For sure. When I went to VidCon, man, that was one of the most life-changing experiences for me. Coming from a town, I'm from Vancouver, Washington, but I say Portland, Oregon, because I'm right on the border, and more people know what Portland is than than Vancouver. But I'm from a small town, and a lot of people here don't really, have the same mindset as me. Don't have that same, want to make it big, reach my dreams kind of mindset. And going to VidCon, I went there and I was just connecting with a lot of big people that have the same mindset, same goals, same dreams as me, and it was absolutely incredible. And so yeah, I've done VidCon. I'm going to Playlist. I flew in LA just last week actually to connect with a few other creators, and yeah, it's always a great time when I connect with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like do you when you connect with these people, do you film videos together to kind of cross pollinate your audiences and kind of expose each other to new audiences?
For sure, that's one of the biggest things. Always connecting. If you can get your face on another page, new audience, extend your reach, extend your growth. That's definitely what's the goal.
And I want to ask you too about like when you go to LA for these different things, do you feel like I interviewed a YouTuber recently. He was saying how when he goes to LA, everyone that he kind of interacts with is almost kind of like has like a guard up where they're like, what do you want from me? Because they know that because they have a following on YouTube or whatever platform. So they always feel like people want something from them. Is that a similar experience you got when you went to LA meeting these people? Is that everyone kind of waits, like has a guard up until they realize you're also a creator?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is something that people have been telling me. I talked to a lot of my close friends who are also creators in LA, and they always tell me, to be careful who you talk to be careful who you're interacting with. Especially that I do have a big following, and if I got to be real with you, I don't even feel like I have this many followers. I feel like I'm still that kid, 2 years ago, making these magic videos, making these funny videos, and so my friends always tell me, you have to have a little bit of a guard up because people will use you if you're not careful. But everybody that I've met so far, to my knowledge, has been pretty genuine, and anyone that might have like tried to use me, I mean, they haven't really gone far with that.
That's good. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Does TikTok give you anything when you pass 1 million?
They do not. Actually, that's a conversation that I was talking to my good friend Spencer X. He's a beatboxer on TikTok, and he wanted to see if because he recently hit 10 mil. He actually just recently reached out to TikTok and was like, "Yo, you should have something. You should have something where creators hit 1 mil, 100,000, 10 million, 100 million, just like what YouTube has."
Yeah, and like, did they say anything? Like, you said he reached out to TikTok directly with that recommendation?
I'm not sure if he reached out directly, but he said that he's been talking to some people, but I don't know any information about that.
That's fair. And do you yourself, do you have the popular creator check yet?
I do not, man. I'm actually one of the only creators with over 1 million followers that don't have the popular creator.
That's crazy. Do you have to apply for it or anything, or does it just kind of show up on your profile? Do you know?
It just shows up on your profile, and I've heard that they do reach out to people once they are popular creators, and they invite people to their space, to their headquarters. But I guess I haven't been recognized yet, which is really interesting. I'm hoping I will soon because they use my videos for actual advertisements on YouTube. So I'm kind of like I'm wondering when they will reach out.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. Like, I remember when I was like doing my research and kind of going through your account, it just kind of boggled my mind a little bit how you didn't have that creator check. And I was like, you have the followers, you've got, I couldn't figure out why. But um, speaking of that, has growing your TikTok helped you grow on other platforms?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I've been able to grow both my YouTube and my although I don't post much on YouTube, which I'm working on that. My YouTube and my Instagram, definitely, because people take my videos on TikTok and they repost it on all these other platforms, and of course I get tagged. And so, yeah, recently over time, a couple months ago, posted one of my mind reading videos, and I was able to grow 20,000 followers on Instagram.
Well, that's crazy. Like, just from that one video?
Just for just from that one video.
And it's like with experiencing all this growth and stuff, you mentioned earlier how like you're able to like you bring in enough money now, like you have a steady income now. So can you kind of talk to me about the business side and everything? It's like what is like no numbers, of course, or anything specific, but like what are your kind of revenue streams right now from TikTok?
Okay, yeah, TikTok hasn't paid me directly for anything. All of it comes from live streaming, merch, which I recently released, and then also brand deals. So those are my three right now. Most of it is coming from my live streams, actually, where people can can choose to donate if they enjoy my content, want to support my page. And I'm currently in the works of creating a Patreon. That's one thing that I really want to do for people who really want to support my content creating.
And that donation feature is that built right into TikTok?
Yes, built right into TikTok, and anybody who has a credit card linked or has an iTunes gift card can choose to donate if they want to.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense because I've never actually tuned into a live stream on TikTok before, but I get the notifications all the time. And I'm like, man, people go live on here all the time. But like now that makes perfect sense as to why people go live
For
all the
sure.
time. But can you kind of talk about merch? You said you recently just launched your own, which is super awesome. But you kind of talk to us about that process, like what's involved in you setting up your own merch.
For sure. So back to VidCon. When I was planning on going to VidCon, this was my one of my first like big trips to go to LA and meet creators. I wanted to maximize, how many videos I did. I wanted to maximize the people that I met. And so I made a post and it was reaching out to anybody going to VidCon. I said, "Yo, if you're going to VidCon, reach out. Let's do something." And I got reached out by a company called Fan Official Merch. Shout out to Fan Official, they're amazing. And they said, "Yo, Sean, we love your content. We've never worked with a TikTok creator before. Let's meet together at VidCon and let's create some merch." And that's what happened. I met up with them, and they were incredible. Their designers were quick to create designs, and yeah, we released merch about a month ago, and yeah, we sold out.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Congrats again. That's crazy.
Thank you.
And so, like, as you continue to grow and it really becomes a business in its own, your TikTok account, is it getting management or representation something you've ever considered in the past or something you're actively looking at right now?
For sure. That's definitely something that I'm looking towards right now. I'm looking at my options. Management is definitely something that I'll need in the future, considering that I don't know too much about the business aspect. I just like making videos, honestly. And so it's been trial and error trying to learn. I remember when I first did my first brand deal, I said a number and they were quick to say yes. And I was like, wait, what? And so I reached out to my other friends and they're like, man, you lowballed them so much. And that's why I've always wanted to get management. But at the same time, going back to, people using you, I want a reliable management. And that's why I think I've been hesitant because I've been reached out to other people and a lot of people have reached out to me saying like, yo, I would love to help manage you, my company, etc. And I always have that guard. I'm like, yo, because I worked hard to get to this spot, and I just don't want to lose it.
No, absolutely. And it's like, do you know where to even start about getting representation? Like that's a world completely like something I'm completely unfamiliar with. Like where do you even go to find representation?
Man, I gotta be real with you. I don't know where to start. I've been researching myself. I've been looking at management. Collab, who is the management for Spencer X. I've reached out to them. I haven't gotten a response yet, but I've been looking at different other managements, reliable managements that I've seen. And honestly, I think I just need to keep growing and keep working until I can get to those top management spots and have something that's reliable.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It seems like a pretty concrete plan, man. But I also want to talk about with in terms of TikTok, I want to talk about the audience on TikToks. Like what does your demographic in terms of your followers look like right now?
So in terms of followers, I most of my audience is quite young, around somewhere between 13 to 18 years old, and I do friendly content. Like all of my videos, generally no cursing at all. Generally pretty clean. Besides my older videos, like my older videos where I was doing meme videos, but today, pretty clean content. And so yeah, my audience is quite young, but I do have some older audience members as well. I remember I at VidCon, one of my greatest feelings is when someone the same age as me, 17, was excited to take a photo. I was like, yes, finally, someone my age.
That's dope. So, like, how does like with that younger demo in mind? Because I feel like as of right now, I think it's changing, but TikTok predominantly is a younger demo. So you kind of mentioned that like you keep like make sure it's kind of family friendly content that you're posting. It's like how have you noticed people interact with the content? Is it mainly just they like it? Do they comment a lot? Do they tag their friends? Do they send it around? Like how have you noticed they interact with your posts?
It depends on the post, honestly. All around, likes, comments, shares, follows. But I always in all of my videos try to, get some sort of engagement, some call to action. If I make this basketball shot, hit that follow button, or if I read your mind, share this with a friend so they can try it too. And so I really honestly depends on the video itself, but definitely all around. And my audience, which my fan base, which I've been trying to grow, like the real core fan base, is really great, and they know that as soon as I post, like I'm trying to get this shared all around, and they'll all share, which is incredible.
That's awesome. So, would you have any advice for brands or companies that are looking at TikTok and they're seeing all this opportunity, but they're just not just quite sure how they fit into the TikTok ecosystem right now with the audience being so young? Like, would you have any advice for people that want to make that jump, but they're not quite sure how they fit in?
I feel like my piece of advice is to give us creators, um, you know, more credit. Give us more credit because we can really take any product. And I've talked to a lot of creators about this. We can take any product and put it into any trend. I really think that TikTok creators are one of the most creative um, content creators in like all of the platforms. One of the most creative as a whole. I mean, if you look at it, all of these videos are being shared on, not only TikTok but Instagram. There's YouTube compilations, Twitter, and so for brands that are looking at TikTok creators that may not like it might not seem like they fit in. We definitely can make that happen. Like our creativity in the app, we can make it. We can intertwine products. We can intertwine brands. Definitely within TikTok.
And then what about like brands wanting to create their own content, like organically create their own? Like I've seen some companies jump on, but it's almost like cringy. Like, is there a certain respect that has to be had when you come over to TikTok when instead of just trying to like kind of put your own content on there, you really have to kind of see how people communicate and how content is produced on there and make it so it fits the platform? Or do you think people kind of come in from the outside and put content that doesn't necessarily fit within the platform?
I definitely do see some brands come in and it doesn't really look like TikTok content. It looks like just content that you'd post on Instagram or like YouTube. And for any brands that are trying to get on TikTok, I would definitely try to flow with the trends. Obviously, it's a different market, it's a different audience. And so if you take, their time and they look through the For You page, look what's popping, and take that and then they intertwine their own products, they can definitely be successful and build their own, following on the app.
And how much longer do you think it takes until TikTok is really kind of like a widely used app? Because right now, I feel like a lot of people think it's just a bit of a younger audience. So I'm sure older audience are starting to take notice, especially with people like Gary Vee yelling about TikTok every day. It's like, how much longer do you think it is until it's pretty much like a widely used app?
I think it is definitely soon. I mean, it's every day where I see another celebrity, Will Smith, Megan Trainor, Jessica Alba. They all just recently joined the app, and more celebrities are joining. So I think a lot of people are taking this app more seriously, especially that Gary Vee, the the man of everything, yelling about it. So yeah, I think definitely very, very soon. I think we're really getting there. Where TikTok is known as just like an Instagram or known as like a YouTube.
And what about the organic reach? Because I feel like that, like you mentioned that a little bit earlier, and I feel like that's a big draw for TikTok right now is the organic reach, right? Like if you have like you can have zero followers, but as long as you're putting out good content that people engage with, you can go viral. Do you think that's going to stick around for a long time? Like, do you think that's going to be a core feature of the product, or do you think it's going to be like other social networks, where as adoption rate increases, organic reach starts to decline?
I definitely think that there will be a decline, especially the fact that this is the most downloaded app, and more and more people are joining every single day. And so, with that, there's more competition, more people posting, and it's going to be more difficult to get your video out there. But at the end of the day, if you have good content, that's the key, man.
And I wanted to ask you because a lot of people that aren't on TikTok that don't necessarily get it, they compare TikTok to Vine a lot. So, like, do you notice any parallels between TikTok and Vine at all?
For sure, and that's going back to like the creativity. I feel like Vine had a lot of really, really creative people at the top. A lot of creative people, King Batch, Zach King with his amazing videos. David Dobrik, of course, Logan, Jake Paul, all of these people that came from Vine. They have that creativity, and although it is a different format, vertical. 60 seconds at most instead of 6 seconds on Vine. But the creativity and like the thought process on making these videos are very, very similar.
And do you think, like you just mentioned, some huge Viners, but they've also gone on now, they're huge YouTubers and creators outside of Tik or not TikTok, sorry, outside of Vine. So do you see like a similar trend where you think that big people on TikTok today are going to be like celebrities just across the board, not just on TikTok, but on all platforms in the near future?
For sure. When I see the big creators on TikTok, I mean, all of them, they're all stars in their own way. So like, no matter what platform they're going to be on, they're all creative. They're all working hard, and no matter what, I know even if the app does end up being like Vine, where it dies, I know that all of these top TikTok creators will be able to, and people are already doing it. They're already cross-platforming, um, taking their audiences to other platforms, and yeah, I know that definitely will the people at the top will be successful.
Are you worried of that happening? I actually had a buddy who wanted me to ask you this question. His name's Rob Greeley. He said that are like he said the way he worded it was, are TikTok stars worried about the platform because of the sudden end of Vine? Like, are you worried that that could go away at any moment, or are you more so focused on cross pollinating your platforms that you're okay in case that does happen?
There's definitely part of me in the back of my head that always thinks, what happens if this all went away? 1.9 million followers gone in an instant. But right now I'm just kind of living in the moment and trying to do all my best to cross platform in case something does happen. I mean, you don't want to just be caught off guard out of nowhere. But as of right now, it looks like everybody's starting to join the app and it's starting to grow really well. And I think in a little bit, it will be pretty solid app. I don't see it going away anytime soon.
And I wanted to talk to you about your content strategy for TikTok specifically because I have a very small TikTok and I'm still trying to figure out like what my like how I should approach it because I don't necessarily think I'm that funny. So I'm just
Mhm.
trying to figure out what my strategy should be, but I'm curious is like I think you said you upload once a day,
For
right?
sure. Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
upload once a day. I've uploaded once a day pretty consistently. I took one month break because I went home to the Philippines, but ever since then, I try to upload um, once every single day. Try to create a new concept. But excuse me, what was the question?
I was just asking like what like your upload like looks like. Like is there so you say you upload a day or sorry, every single day. Is there like a certain date or time of day that works? Is there a day of the week that works best? Like you notice your most engagement come from?
No. This is the really interesting thing about TikTok is you can really post anytime, anywhere, and a video could go viral. The first video, the 5 million view video that blew up, the second video that I did, I posted that at midnight, literally dead midnight, and it really just depends on how many people engage. The TikTok algorithm is crazy. You know, they send it to a handful of people. Depending on if they engage or not, they'll send it to more, and depending if they engage, they'll send it to more. So no matter when you post or where you post or what day you post, you definitely any video has a shot.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And where, like, how often do you go out and film videos? Like, do you batch your content? Do you take like an afternoon on a Saturday or something, go out and shoot like 20 videos or something like that? Like, what does your creation process look like?
There are definitely some days where I do that, where I go out and I film a bunch of videos, especially if I'm working with other creators. But right now, I'm just waking up and creating a new video. That's what I try to do every single day, and brand new ideas come into mind, and I just go right at it. I've had days where I'm literally in bed about to go to sleep, and I get this idea, and I get up and I make the video.
That's awesome. That must be a bit of a grind though, having like to create a new video every day. Like, are you ever worried what if you wake up and don't have an idea?
For sure, but I don't beat myself up with it. It's definitely a goal of mine, but it's not like a necessity to have a video done every single day. But definitely a goal, definitely a goal.
And does your content does it change at all between platforms? Like, is your Instagram and your TikTok content different?
It was different when I first started. You know, I was doing the meme videos, and even when I started doing the magic videos. But as I kept going, I realized that the same videos that are on my TikTok can be used on Instagram, and I never really thought of it in the same light until I started posting my TikTok videos on Instagram, and they were doing well.
Okay, that's curious. That's interesting. And I want to ask you, like, in your videos when you're filming them, you're very, very high energy. So is that just like a natural state for you to be in, or do you feel like you kind of have to go into character when you're filming?
A little bit of both. My friends will definitely say that I have a lot of energy all the time. But I definitely have to up it for TikTok, especially, people are just scrolling. In the first 3 seconds, I try to always grab their attention. Be like, yo, wait. I'm gonna read your mind, or wait, watch this magic trick. And so that's definitely what I try to do.
Is it ever like, do you ever like when you're in a bad mood, like how do you get back into that place where you have to be like stoked and just super happy?
Um, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not necessarily ever in a terrible mood, but when I am in like a down mood, I just look at what this video can do for me. Like every video, you never know. Like if I didn't make, I almost didn't make that basketball video yesterday. If I didn't make it, I would have 200,000 less followers right now. And so I always think, even if I'm on a time crunch, or even if I'm not feeling at my 100%, I always think, you never know what this can do for me. The opportunity is always there with TikTok.
That's just it, man. Like we're always just one video away from
For
something
sure.
crazy happening. But yeah, I think you mentioned earlier too that like your next platform is YouTube. Like that's the next progression for you, right?
Yes, that is definitely it.
Yeah, it's like how do you what do you kind of picture for your YouTube? Like what does that look like? What kind of videos are you posting? Is it more vlog style content? Is it still magic? Like what are you kind of thinking right now?
I'm thinking a mix of both. I want to make magic videos because I know a lot of my audience really likes the magic videos, but at the same time, I really enjoy doing vlogs. I mentioned David Dobrik before, but all of my vlogs are David Dobrik style, and I really enjoy making them. It's actually content that I really like, and honestly, I prefer making those over like a magic tutorial, like teaching people how to do magic, which a few other creators are doing. And so I'm gonna do a little mix of everything to keep the audience happy, but also videos that I like to do.
And I mean, like, I know you said I think you have just under 7,000 subscribers right now, right?
I just hit 7,000.
Hey, congrats, man. Is that all from directing people? No problem. Is that from directing people from TikTok, or are you growing that organically through YouTube?
So the first 5,000 was my own through YouTube, and then the recent 2,000 the recent 2,000 was from TikTok.
And is that so that 5,000, is that from your one video that blew up with like 329,000 views?
A good amount of that came from that. I had subscribers coming from that video, definitely. And it's weird because that video doesn't even fit my the videos that I did. Honestly, I think I just made that video in the spur of the moment. It was a video, it was a conspiracy theory video. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know why I made that video, but it did pretty well.
Like, do you know why it did so much better than the rest of your videos? Like, did you tag it differently? Was it the thumbnail? Like, was it the subject matter? Like, why do you think it did so well?
It was the subject matter for sure. I mean, it was kind of a controversial topic. I honestly don't know why I still have that up. I'm probably gonna take it down, honestly, but it's definitely something where I look back and I think, man, I got to start creating content that I like, not content that will get me views.
That's interesting. Can you talk a little bit more as to why that is?
Well, at the end of the day, Gary talks about this a lot. It's about happiness, man. And I'm not happy making that content, and if I don't really like that content, even if someone else likes it, and even if it does get 300,000 views or million views or whatever it might be, at the end of the day, if I'm not happy, then it's not worth my time.
Is there anything to be said for like what if you made videos that like this? I honestly don't know what the right answer to this is,
Hmm.
but if you made videos to kind of blow up, like maybe you see a lot of views on YouTube right away, and then once you have a large following, kind of try to switch that to more videos that you want to make. So almost use
Hmm.
these videos that you know will get big views to get people to your channel, but then expose them to videos that you want to make more so once you've kind of blown up.
That's definitely something that I've heard other creators talk about. My friend Jabrizi, he's another magician. Um, he's really incredible. He's awesome. He's done stuff like that where he creates videos that blow up and then exposes them to his true content, his content that he enjoys making, and he calls it bulking and cutting. He bulks up his audience, and then he creates content that he likes, and it starts to cut down a little bit, then bulk, and then cut, and then bulk and cut, and that's definitely a strategy that I find interesting, and it works for some people. But personally, for me, I want to stick to content that I truly enjoy making, so that even if I'm growing at a slower rate, the people that are coming with me and growing with me are the people that truly enjoy my content.
No, that's awesome, man. That's a good strategy. But I was gonna ask, like, so when do you kind of think you'll start going all in on YouTube as well? Because I think you're uploading once or twice a month right now. Are you planning to go like weekly or twice a week or anything like that?
Hmm. At one point, about a month ago, I posted once a week for 3 weeks, and then I kind of stopped. It's definitely just like a motivation thing. I need to get motivated. I need to, start hyping myself up. Like, yes, I need to get this YouTube going, and so it's something. It's just something that I need to personally start doing. But yeah, definitely in the near future, I think I'm gonna get a video up next week, and then hopefully once a week for the rest of forever.
That's awesome, man. But yeah, YouTube is definitely a grind. Like I once put up a video on YouTube saying I'm going to daily vlog for a week. I daily vlogged for a day, and that was it. So, um,
For sure, man. I have tons of videos like that. I gotta be real. If you went through my videos, I always talk about, yeah, I'm gonna start posting every single day or 3 videos a week or whatever. I definitely have like maybe 4 or 5 of those videos, and then the next video is like, sorry guys, I my bad. Like,
yeah, no, I feel you on that. But what about like other social medias? Like, do you have a strategy for Facebook or Twitter or anything like that?
um, they're both 2 platforms that I want to hop on and, start growing more. For Facebook itself, I'm kind of a youngin, and so it's kinda been difficult for me to understand Facebook. I'm trying to learn, but one of my other good friends, Paul Vu, he's a magician. He has like 4 million on Facebook. He's been helping me, and he set up an account with 4 other magicians, and we're starting to grow that. And so soon we'll be making revenue on there, which is really really awesome, and he's kind of been teaching me a little bit about Facebook. For Twitter, um, I really want to get on Twitter, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on Twitter. Because I recently made a video, and this is going to be a YouTube video. But I recently made a video of a scary clown. Like, oh, I saw this scary clown on the side of the road, and it was basically this video for YouTube where I'm gonna reveal that, oh, it was all fake, and don't believe everything you see on the internet. Um, and so that should be going up soon. But within that, I wanted to get it on Twitter because I've seen clown videos go viral on Twitter, and recently I started experimenting, and I reached out to some people who've had videos that they reposted do really well. Like, some people take TikTok videos, post it on Twitter, and be like, "Oh, guys, look at this video," and it gets like 3 million views. And so I reached out to those people, and I was like, "Hey guys, like, I'll pay you $10 to post this." And because they don't have a massive audience, they're not even trying to grow actually. They just like reposting. And I tried that strategy and it's really working well for me. What that clown video got 1 million views on Twitter. So I really feel like for Twitter, feel like a lot of people are sleeping on it. Lil Nas X even talks about that's one of the biggest reasons why his song Old Town Road did well. I feel like if people started growth hacking more on Twitter, especially if you're a content creator, you can find a lot of benefits, especially the fact that nobody's doing it right now.
No, I can pardon me. No, I completely agree. Like Twitter's something that I'm trying to be more active on now. And in terms of Facebook too, I think Facebook has a chance to make a comeback in the next couple of years because they're kind of going all in on video. So if they make creator friendly moves for video, I think they have a chance to kind of gain some ground back and make some moves with a bit of a younger audience. So I think that's smart that you're kind of working on both platforms as well. And what about podcasting? I know you had thoughts from 15-year-old a couple of years ago, but are you going to get back into the podcasting game at all?
Yeah, for sure. I just bought audio interface and I just bought a couple mics. I definitely that podcasting was really interesting because I started when I was taking social media seriously when I was 14, 15, and I was just trying everything. And I made that podcast. It had like 2 or 3 episodes on it. I didn't really do much with it. I completely stopped. There's only 3 episodes, but it's definitely something that I've always been fascinated by. And I know that as we move forward, I mean, people are watching YouTube videos without even, or excuse me, listening to YouTube videos without even watching it now. And I do that personally when I'm like working out or whatever. And so I know that podcasting soon will be huge. And, not, I mean, it's already huge today, but like not just an older audience. Like, I really believe in the near future, all of these, the teenagers, high schoolers, even middle schoolers will start listening to podcasts and it will be a way bigger platform. So it's definitely something that I want to hop on.
That's interesting. So like, I'm using this more of as like kind of a research thing now. Are high schoolers not really into podcasting yet? Like it is more of an older demo thing?
For sure. I mean, I know a couple people in my high school that do listen to podcasts, but the majority of people don't. Mainly because most people don't even know where to find a podcast, and they have no use for it. A lot of people like to just either just listen to a YouTube video or watch a YouTube video or consume content in other way. But I feel like there's definitely going to be a shift soon, especially that more YouTubers are starting to do podcasting. Um, Logan Paul has his own, David Dobrik has his own podcast, and more people are starting to, dive into that podcast world. And as soon as more people, more YouTubers, and more influencers with a younger audience are going there, there's going to be a shift. I really feel that.
No, I completely agree. Like the podcasting is so great, exactly for the reason like you talked about with YouTube, where you don't even have to watch it to consume it, right? Like you can do it at the gym or when you're driving or anything like that. So I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I completely agree. I mean, that's part of my daily routine. Whenever I'm on the road, it's either Gary Vee or David Dobrik, one or the other.
On that note, let's talk about Gary Vee for a minute because I saw that you met him at Complex Con, right?
Yes, for sure, man. That man is definitely one of my biggest influencers. When I first started social media, he was a voice in the back of my head telling me to do it. And so that was one of my biggest influencers. I learned about him in late 2016. Still listen to him today, and yeah, recently, just about a couple weeks ago, I made an impulse buy, and I spent $100 on tickets while I was in Los Angeles. I went to Long Beach, went to Complex Con, and I didn't even know he was there. I was just walking around and I see the Gary Vee booth, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Gary Vee has a booth here." And then I look a little bit further and he's right there. And it blew my mind. He's actually a lot shorter than I thought. He's like my height.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's not a tall dude, but, like, what was it like meeting him in person?
It was incredible. I mean, so many people, like, you can tell he's really shifted the culture because he was just surrounded by people, people of all different race, people of all different age. Like, he's definitely shifted the culture in such a dramatic way, and so many people are following him. I actually was only able to get that photo, and it was funny because my phone was at 1%. I was looking for a place to charge my phone when I saw him. I took that photo, and as soon as I took that photo, my phone died.
Oh, shit. Did you get a chance to talk to him at all, though, or was, like, so busy you were just, like, selfieing out?
He was leaving actually. He was leaving,
Mm.
and so I ran to the very front. I was like, "I'm not leaving without this photo. Like, I need this." And so, yeah, I wasn't able to talk to him, but hopefully soon, man. That's definitely a goal of mine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Have you, like, reached out to him on any of the social platforms or anything?
Yeah, actually, a while back, he was looking for TikTok creators to work with, and I reached out to him, and I was spamming him on Twitter. I was like, "Man, like if you need anybody, like I got a million. I know that's like not a huge amount, but like, well, it is a huge amount, but I mean like, in terms of like the biggest creators, and if you need anyone, let me know." And then D Rock, his filmmaker, reached out, and he said, "Yo, let's get on a call." And so we're working on scheduling that call soon.
That's dope, man. Well, I wish you all the best with that. That'll be
Thank you.
awesome. I hope one day I'll be listening to the audio experience with Gary Vee, and I'll be a meeting with you 2 guys.
That would be insane, man.
But kind of before we die, you kind of mentioned with Gary Vee how, like, he's shifted the culture. So, like, in terms of culture, is there any, like, trends or anything that you're kinda keeping an eye on?
I think definitely one of the biggest trends that I see coming on is more of short form content. Definitely people think of YouTube as like, the app to start growing on. It's the most, stable app, stable platform for you to grow an audience on. It's the most difficult, but it's the most stable. And that's definitely a place that I would want to go to. But right now, short form content is winning, and I feel like there's going to be more apps coming around, and there are already a lot of apps coming around recently. I mean, Firework from Google, or not from Google, endorsed by Google. Loops. Uh, there's just a lot of short form content places that are being brought up now, and short form is definitely gonna have its own stand very soon.
Mhm, and speaking of content, what are some, like, things that you consume usually, other than, like, Gary Vee and David Dobrik?
Mhm. Um, for me, I definitely spend way too much time on TikTok. It's a meme in itself. Like a lot of people talk about how you could just be on TikTok and you're scrolling and you don't even realize that 3 hours pass by. And it's true, man. I mean, I'm on that app a lot. For both consuming for fun and for my own like, oh, what's doing well on TikTok. But definitely I'm on TikTok a lot, podcasts, and uh, YouTube. A lot of YouTube. I watch way too much David Dobrik, honestly.
So, like, what's next for you, man? I know you said LA is coming up, so I guess you got graduation coming. Like, what do you have on the horizon?
Yeah, I'm just working to graduate right now. Honestly, I just want to be done with school and then move to Los Angeles and hopefully start, really taking this seriously where I don't have to, you know, um, think about school, don't have to think about other things I need to do. I just need to, triple down on the content.
Mhm, and so, like, is college a plan for you? You plan not to go to college right away and really just kinda go all in on social and creating content?
I don't plan on going to college. It was definitely something that me and my parents talked about a lot. Especially, I'm Filipino. It was the only way out actually for my parents. They were both, raised in poverty, and the only way you could get out of it is if you had a college degree. And ever since I was a freshman, and I have a fun story about this actually. But ever since I was a freshman, I've been telling my parents, yo, I don't want to go to college. I want to make this my living. And it wasn't until this year where I really started to actually make a decent living, enough to live on my own, that they said, maybe you don't need it.
That's awesome. So, like, was that like, so it's been 4 years of you kinda preaching that you don't wanna go to college,
Mhm.
and then now things really come into their own, and you said you had a story, was that the story there?
Oh no, yeah, I do have a story about this actually. It's really funny. The first day of high school, in my English class, my teacher made me write a letter to my senior self. So right now, to myself right now. And at that time, I had 900 followers on Instagram. 900 followers on Instagram, and I didn't have. I wasn't even making content like every day. I was just, making content probably like once a month, and I was just a typical Instagram high school user who occasionally posted magic videos. And at that time, I wrote a letter to myself, and I said, um, "By the time you read this, you won't be going to college, and you would have had a name for yourself." And that's definitely something that I always look at, and I'm like, "Wow, that really happened, man." Something that I'm really excited. Once I graduate, I'm gonna get that letter back. Definitely gonna make a video about it because yeah, I mean, just even that, it's just something that just blows my mind that you write something down and then you look back on it years later and it's like, what happened? How did this actually come true?
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Like I have chills. Like that'll be a sick video when you get that letter.
I'm so excited. I've been ever since I hit a million on TikTok. I've been thinking about that letter. I'm like, wow, because that's like a strategy that people talk about. Write all your goals for the next 5 years and look at it later and see how much you really accomplished. And I never thought of it as I never thought that would actually come true. But it's just been absolutely insane. And every time I think about that, I'm just like I'm blown away of how lucky, well, kind of lucky, and like how much work I put in to get here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what are your long-term goals then?
My long-term goals, honestly, the only goal I have in mind is to make a stable living and create videos every day. I don't want, I don't need $1 million house. I don't need to be the biggest ever. I just like doing what I'm doing right now. I love to make videos. I love live streaming. And if I can just do this and also at the same time, have a stable income and make a good amount, nothing crazy, then that's my only goal, man.
That's awesome, man. And before we wrap up here, I want to ask you five kind of standard questions I ask everybody at the
Okay.
end of every interview. So the first one being, you're going to dinner and you can take three people. It could be anybody dead or alive. Who do you take
Oh,
to dinner?
okay. Man, three. Number one, Gary V. Definitely 100%. Number two, this the head of TikTok headquarters to see if I can get verified. And then number three, ooh, that's gonna be a tough one. Oh man. I would probably go with David Dobrik. Yeah, those three for sure.
No, that's fair. What is some of the best advice you've ever been given?
Some of the best advice that I've ever been given personally is one, create content every day, and I've heard that from not just Gary Vee, but people all around. That's one of the biggest parts of being a content creator is you want to get. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to create content. It's in the name itself, and if you're not feeding your audience with content, then they're not going to stick around. That's the biggest thing, and then the second biggest thing, which is something that I always try to think about every time I make a video and every time that I create content or like work with other people or I'm around big people is to be myself. And as cliche as it sounds, it's true, man. Because at the end of the day, um, you're the people who support you want to see you, and authenticity wins at the end of the day.
Hmm. When your alarm goes off in the morning, what motivates you to get out of bed?
The fact that this day could change my life dramatically every single day, man. You never know who's going to email you. You never know who's going to call you. I mean, one day I woke up and Will Smith was following me. So it's definitely something that every single day when I see that, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this day, my day. I'm going to make this day the day where something dramatic happens. And I think that's been a really big key to where I am today.
Yo, that's crazy. Like, did you message Will or anything right away when you saw that he followed you?
There's another I have another story for that actually. I don't know. Do we have time for this?
Of course, man. Absolutely.
Okay, so Will Smith joined the app about a month ago, and when I saw he joined the app, he had 3,000 followers. I was blown away. It was an official account. Will Smith verified everything. 3,000 followers. He just posted his first TikTok, and I was one of the first people to see his account. As soon as I saw that, got that light bulb in my head. I was like, I'm gonna attack Will Smith with my comments right now. And I made this video calling him out, and I said, "Yo, Will, I need you to do a collab with me. Like this is happening." and I had everybody tag him. And that night, I get a follow from Will Smith, and I was flabbergasted. And then 2 days later, I get an email from his team, and we're in the works of creating something cool.
Bro, that's so dope, man. Congratulations on that. That's
Thank you, man.
crazy.
Thank you, man. Oh, man. Okay, going back to the best piece of advice: always shoot your shot. That's definitely like if there's any title for my biography, autobiography, or anything, it's a shot in the dark, because a lot of the things that I've done is just me going out and just shooting my shot. I've been rejected so many times with so many things. I mean, let alone AGT, let alone anything else that I've done. But you never know, man. You never know when one thing. If I didn't make that video, where would I be? If I didn't make the video yesterday, where would I be? Shoot your shot with everything. Test your luck. And what you ask, you might just get.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like a direct, like how that directly applies to me is like with
Mhm.
podcast, right? Like some of the people I get on, people are like, how did you get this person? Like I literally just asked. Like that's all it takes, right? Like
For
some people
sure.
say no before they even ask the question. Like they say no for the other person before they even ask.
100%, man. 100%. It's incredible. You never know. You just never know.
Yeah, exactly. What's one thing about you that people wouldn't expect?
One thing about me that people would not expect. That's a really interesting question. Uh, I can be really sarcastic sometimes. That's definitely something that I always people are always surprised. Oh, and I'm also short. A lot of people look at the videos and don't think I'm that short. I'm actually pretty short. That's a pretty common comment. They're like, "Oh my god, you're way shorter than I thought." I'm like, "Ah, no, it's my Asian genes. I'm sorry, bro." But yeah, it's definitely something that two things. I'm my comments are always usually sarcastic, and people are always caught off guard, and then always uh, I'm shorter than I appear on the videos.
Yeah. What's one thing that's so important everybody needs to know?
About me,
Just about it could be about you, it could be about life in general.
one thing that's so important is that happiness is everything. You don't chase anything else but being happy. That's definitely the one thing that everybody needs to understand. Don't do things for other people. I mean, Gary preaches this. I feel like I'm just like Gary's record player. I just repeating what he's saying, but it's true. Um, just being happy is what's the most important thing. Don't do things solely for other people's opinions. Do it for yourself.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And for the final question, I like to flip the script a little bit where
Mm.
instead of me asking the question, you're asking the question, but it's
Oh,
not to me. So it's kind of like a hypothetical situation.
okay.
So imagine you have a crystal ball, and this crystal ball could tell you the answer to any question. What is one question you would ask the crystal ball that you want to know the answer to?
Oh, right now, okay. The one question that I would ask this crystal ball is, um, if I could ask anything, is in the future, will I be able to do what I'm doing today every single day and make a living off of it? That is the one question that's always in the back of my head.
That's awesome, man. But I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be on this podcast. I want to give you the floor. Where can the people find you? Plug anything and everything you got right now.
All right, guys, you can find me on Sean Does Magic on every single platform: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, soon podcast, Twitter, and Facebook. All of those. Sean Does Magic if you guys want to check out some awesome magic videos, and as well as some comedy videos.
Awesome. I'll make sure everything's linked in the show notes down below. And I want to thank you once again for being on the podcast. And I want to thank everybody for listening. Whether you've listened the entire way through, you've only listened to bits and pieces, I really appreciate you taking time to check this out. Everyone, do me a favor, go and follow Sean. Like I said, everything will be linked in the show notes down below. And if you'd like to follow me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Jacob Kelly. Feel free to come and say hello. My DMs are always open. And if you'd like to follow the podcast, you can find us on Instagram at My Social Life Podcast or by searching up My Social Life on YouTube. Thank you once again for listening, everybody. We'll talk soon.